Hello and welcome to my League of Legends Power Rankings for June 30th, where we go over the top 25 teams, ranking them in order based on how they're playing so far this split. I do loosely use some stats when it comes to the minor regions and how they fit into this top 25. And I also have some stats to just generally, get a vibe for how teams are doing in general. But when it comes to the four major regions, I like to think that I have a pretty decent vibe on who is good and who isn't. But nevertheless, comment down below with opinions of your own. Everybody has the right to an opinion. So, 25th, we're going to start off with Astralis. Astralis are sitting at 3-2. They lost to Rogue, beat SK. Astralis were in my power rankings last week. They continue to be in the power rankings, falling 3 spots. A team that honestly is playing a lot better than I thought they would. I did not expect them to have a winning record even after week 2. I don't think many people did. I think Vizicachi still is not very good anymore. But Xerxes played really well this past week once again. Dajor has played well. Kabe has played well. And even Jung Hoon has looked good. So, that team has looked better than expected. I don't know if they're going to be in the power rankings next week. We have even a couple teams that probably should be doing better. Misfits, Rogue. Hopefully Rogue finally turns it around. No offense, Astralis, but I would prefer Rogue being up here. Now, 24th, we have a newcomer, Red Canids, out of CB Low. You have to kind of understand something when you look at this. So they're 5-1. They're first place in CB Low. CB Low did okay at MSI, better than expected. I have a couple OS teams that look better than them right now according to the algorithm, but I didn't really want to keep them up here. I know next week PCS starts this weekend, and I highly doubt Red Canids are still up here come next week. No offense to Red Canids, but if J Team goes 3-0 or has a strong 2-1 or something, I'm going to imagine that the algorithm's going to like them better than how Red Canids are being viewed right now. When it comes to mixing the small teams into this top 25. They're pretty decent. So 5-1. 23rd, we have 100 Thieves dropping 6 spots. They beat Golden Guardians, lost to C9, sitting at 3-2. The problem with the 100 Thieves is they're the same thing every week. They really are. They play very, very meta. Closer has looked good. Abadage, though, however, continues to kind of leave a lot to be desired. Someday is and really, it's kind of like closer or bust with this team right now. And it's only a matter of time before C9 passes them in the real rankings, let alone the fact that I have them higher than 100 Thieves in here. 22nd, I have Anyone's Legend, which are new to the list. Anyone's Legend stats look good. The record's 3-2. Why did I write 3-2? I'm not supposed to be writing 3-2. I'm supposed to be writing an N there. Anyone's Legend had lost to top. Sorry. Wow, I'm yelling into the microphone and I'm not even saying the right crap. They beat IG. So they only had one match since Thursday, since Friday till now, Thursday. They beat IG. And they're looking good. Their numbers look good, actually, despite the record being only 3-2. Much better than expected. I thought Chow Chow playing Seraphine a couple times this past week was really interesting and something that's, not this past week, but this split in general. The only player at the time of me doing my 12 preview that had played him multiple times. Xiao Hao's been okay. What was I about to say? I'm mixing my team. No, that's for LGD. Forge has looked really good in mid. I wanted to say Hai Chow, but that's not true. Forge has looked really, really good in mid, actually. This past meta has fit him well. The Swain, the Ari. I think he might have had a LeBlanc game, not sure. May have had a Rise game, not sure. I think he played Galio. Nevertheless, I like Anyone's Legend right now. I think they're doing pretty decent. 21st, dropping 7 spots. I have LNG. LNG Are they on paper the 21st best team in the world? No. Honestly, on paper, they should be here. But they aren't playing like it. They simply aren't. You lost to Top. Top's up here. Whatever. I'm not going to drop you from here all the way to here if you did that. But you lost to OMG, and that's unacceptable. 21st. And keep losing like that, and you're going to find yourself off of this list. 20th. I didn't put them on last week, and it was because I was like, no way is this 3-0 team actually for real. But let's give them some love in case the wheels come off. At least at one point they got up here. CLG, 4-1. I know. Ha ha ha. Really funny. I can't believe it. They beat EG, though. EG's a real team. Did they go and beat G2? No, but they were a good team at MSI. Performed well against the Eastern regions. And ended up 3rd, 4th with G2. So really, what's there to say? CLG lost to FlyQuest, though, which it's unfortunate. But nevertheless, I think that it's nice to see him up here and performing well, kind of like Astralis. Contracts has played very well. I think he sees the Kevy factor behind him, and he's trying to push his limits in the jungle. Poom and Luger and Bot have been a lot better than expected. They played a lot of weird lanes, and this past week they played something pretty meta, in one of the games at least. But I like that they're playing things that are different, and that's the sort of stuff that gets you wins when you're a team on paper that might not be good as the opposition. 19th, I have Fnatic, who stats look awful, and, well, they weren't very good this past week either, but Fnatic on paper, like LNG, is very good. Let's be real here for a moment, right? They're really good. They are a team that's in the best 25 in the world, and that's with ease. But beating BDS when you should have lost and losing to Mad Lions is not good. So they drop one spot. I mean, I didn't want to drop them completely off the list, which is what a lot of the stats are saying, because we know they're a better team than that. We'll see how they do going forward. Moving up 7 spots is Chief Esports Club, which is a kind of interesting thing because they're LCO. And you're going to be like, why are they above Fnatic? Why are they above these teams? Like, they're not better than LNG on paper. But the record's 8-0, and they are dominating Oceania right now. So going to give them some love when I can. The fact of the matter is, if they continue to win, they went 19-2 in spring and lost in the playoffs. I mean, they're a really good team. So we'll see how they do. They've got a couple players that have played in the 4 major regions on their squad. Reyes, just to name one, that has played in the LCS. So, you know, they're 18th. I think that they're you know, decent enough to deserve to be on the damn list. Hell, they are dominating their region. 17th, I have C9. C9 is going to probably continue to rise as we go on here, as they get past all those losses they had earlier in the split without a bot lane. Sven and Berserker have been solid, to say the very least. They played Senna TK or Senna Seraphine maybe. Either way, they played fasting bot lane, and it's like, okay, well, we have an 80 carry at support that can play it, kind of like what IG did today. I wonder if IG got the idea from C9 to say, why don't we put 2 80 carries down there and see what happens if we're doing fasting lanes. C9 beat Dig and 100 Thieves. They're 2-3, and honestly, I expect them to continue to move up in these power rankings throughout the foreseeable future until they hit the wall, which might be TL or depending EG on what day, you play EG. 16th, new to the rankings. It's because this is more of an algorithm pick than a record pick, mind you, which is going to say, it's going to say, oh, well, what, are you using an algorithm for everything? And it's like, no. But I'm tired of looking at Thunder Talk being high up in my algorithm and seeing them on the Rift and liking how they play despite being 1-3. They lost to JDG this past week. That's the only team they played. Their schedule has not been overly easy. I think that on the way they're playing is good League of Legends. Puff and Southwind have looked good. UCal's looked okay. Bejuan has looked very good. One of the better junglers in the LPL so far this split. Um, Hell, he's definitely outplayed Tarzan and Zhao Hao as far as I'm concerned. I think honestly, I want to see how Thunder Talk does against the bad teams throughout the rest of the split. Hopefully they continue. It'd be a nice story. A team that was absolutely trash in spring changes top and jungle and ends up becoming a totally different team. Come summer. 15th, the first LCK team on the list, DRX. The numbers do not like the LCK, but I like the LCK, so that's just kind of where we're at right now. DRX are dropping 2 spots. They lost to Sandbox a couple days ago, which is unfortunate. But they beat KDF and HLE, so they went 2-1, and I imagine they're only playing once this week, so we'll see what happens with that. But DRX, Pioshik's been okay in the jungle the last couple of games. I mean, I think he's been one of their more solid players, and Kingen as well. It's mid that has a problem. I think Zika really is kind of just, average at best. He has a pop-off game every once in a while, but I'm not a big fan of his in general. Barrel inted his face off at one point, which is unfortunate because Barrel's actually really good. But they are just, they need to do better. Let's put it that way. They need to be better. They've had an easy schedule thus far. Losing to Sandbox is not good, actually, because 5-0 would have been really nice against the good teams, because now I think they have to play T1, Gen.g, and Damwon. And they could end up being 4-4 before long, and they are not on this board if they're going to be 4-4. 14th, we have Mad Lions. Mad Lions are 3-2 on the split, beat Fnatic, but lost to Excel. As Excel take the number 2 spot in the LEC, so Mad Lions fall out of that. Pretty much is what it is. That's pretty much what it is. I like Mad Lions. I think they're good. I think they're going to get better as long as they get used to Niski. I think they need to unleash Elyoya. I think this meta could allow a guy like Elyoya to really 1v9 if he wanted to. I think that they should let him and see what he can do. I really like Elyoya. I think he's definitely one of those junglers that can carry games if you let him. So, Mad Lions, 14th. 13th, we have EG. EG, it's kind of weird moving them up, to be honest with you, but I am. Here we are. We're moving them up. Going 1-1 this past week. Beating IMT, losing to CLG. I think EG are solid. It's more so the teams around them. DRX have to fall at this point. They just have to. I did not write down the teams that are no longer on the board. We're going to have to go over that when we're done. I'm just going to have to grab my notebook and look back at last week. So EG, 13th. Yeah, 13th. I mean, meta is not really fitting them. And we saw that at MSI, that in the beginning, they were trying to figure out the meta and they couldn't really do it. And I think EG over time are going to get better. However, will it be before C9 passes them? That's another story. And the team that's going to continue to be ahead of them for the foreseeable is TL. TL is the only team that didn't move at all in my rankings, staying 12th. Beat FlyQuest, lost to TSM. The stats still indicate they're a good team. Losing to TSM, it is what it is. I think Bwipo needs to kind of calm down and top. It is fun to play different things all the time and go out of whack. But when it loses, you're like, okay, well, calm down, guy. We need to kind of right the ship here and not lose to TSM. But if they're going to lose games in that way, I'm fine with it. Because it's not like they're trying like 110% with something that they wouldn't play in scrims, that they would only play on stage and losing with it. Like meta picks. Like when he picks Olaf top twice in a split, I'm like, okay, well, maybe this guy, he's not notoriously an Olaf player. This is borderline scrim sort of stuff. So if they lose to TSM doing that, it's kind of how I view it. 11th, we have Excel, who moves up 10 spots. Because, I really disrespected Excel last week. I really disrespected them, and I'm going to be honest, I still don't love the team. I like Marcoon, I like Mickey, but Patrick continues to carry. I'm just not a big Patrick fan, not a big Nuke Duck fan. I think Finn, it's nice to see Finn being able to go back to the LEC and play like he did before he left when he went to CLG, and CLG kind of must have taken the life out of him, which it is NA. It makes sense. So, Excel beat Vitality and Mad Lions, going 2-0. Their only loss is to G2. As far as I'm concerned right now, they are the second best team, and the teams they're beating would indicate that. 10th place, we have Damwon Kia, who are 2-2. Their record not very good, but let's be real here. Damwon's a really, really damn good team. Nuguri is still knocking the rust off in top. Canyon and Showmaker are very good players. Top 5 in the role, in my opinion. Duck Dom and Kellen are definitely holding them back from what would be being a first or second place team, at least so far this split. It'd be nice if Duck Dom could pick it up. But 2-2, their only game played was against T1, which they lost. You lost to T1. I mean, T1 at the time were still first in my power rankings. Very good team, obviously. Still a championship contending team. So losing to them, it's not a big deal for me. We all still respect Damwon, and if we don't, well, we're on crack. G2, 9th place, dropping 3 spots. You lost to BDS. Sorry, excuse me. Lost to BDS in a big way. And maybe not on the score sheet was it a big way, but you didn't have a chance in that game. So you're 9th. Beat Vitality. Good recovery. The algorithm still really likes them. It has them 4th, but they're not 4th. They're definitely not 4th. Losing to BDS is not okay. It's just simply not okay. 8th place, we have Weibo. Weibo Gaming. So they're moving up 11 spots from the basement. As it stands right now, the LPL and LCK are going to own this. And it is unfortunate because I really wanted to maybe work G2 in here, but like I said a couple weeks ago, I would say these are the World Championship contending teams. I could see them kind of winning Worlds maybe at this point. And G2 losing to BDS, you're not going to win Worlds that way. So Weibo, they beat Rare Atom and Ultra Prime, separating themselves from the middle tier teams of the LPL, which is important. That separates them from definitely these guys. These guys, that was important. Ultra Prime, Rare Atom, Anyone's Legend, IG, OMG, all together. Thunder Talk there, despite the record being what it is. LNG is in the same boat Weibo was just in before Weibo beat Ultra Prime yesterday. Hopefully I ordered it right on my notebook. Because LNG right now are 3-2 and are on struggle street. Weibo, right the ship, go 4-2. The Shy doing very well in their past matchup yesterday. Wanfeng also. Weibo sometimes can be a team up here and other times they're not. Kind of like G2, and right now Weibo are the better of the two teams. 7th place, I have RNG. RNG lost to Victory 5. And they, I just gotta double check this thing here. Yeah, they dropped 2. So they dropped 2. It's not necessarily the loss to Victory 5, but it's going to 3 games against OMG. The last 2 games were really solid, but game 1 was a blowout. Breathe has been solid in top. He's still not Bin. He's not going to be Bin. And people are going to say, well, look at what BLG's record is and look how Bin's playing. I'd be tilted too if I got dumped by RNG and went to BLG, a team that's just the most underperforming sack of in the league. Like, I'd be tilted. So the fact of the matter is, RNG, Yahoo is still very, very good. Gala, hard carried in game 3 today against OMG, 7-0-10, 100% kill participation in the early to mid game as they pulled out to a 17-3 lead. I just remembered that off of my my roundup if you missed it. I mean, just a very dominant performance out of them in game 3, but they lost game 1. But that's why best of 3s, like somebody said, is better than best of 1s. Teams can recover after losing, game 1. T1, 6th place. They dropped 5 spots. Originally, they were 7th. The stats say they're even worse than that, but let's not kid ourselves. T1 is a still world championship contending team, but I will say the stats have been saying for a long time that they aren't the best team in the world, and I kept them number 1 because they're finding ways to win. And when push comes to shove, if you continue finding ways to win, no matter how big, maybe they're just always going to keep finding ways to win. But they lost to Kwangdong, so they dropped 5 spots. Really just disrespect in draft. Just got completely outdrafted. Didn't see the Ash support coming, which I didn't either, and I don't think anyone else did. But the fact of the matter is, they didn't have anything prepared for it. They beat Damwon, though, which is a big win. You're still clearly a top-tier team, without a doubt. EDG 5th. EDG defending world champions, 3-1. Or 4-1. 4-1. Moved up 6 spots, looks like. So, EDG beat BLG. That was their only matchup this past week. We like EDG as long as Viper and Mako. That's what's crazy, actually. Is EDG is like here, and Viper and Mako have kind of just been blah this whole split. Scout has he's shown up at times. JJ has been playing very well, probably their best performing player this whole split, which is something that I'm really surprised to say because he's, in my opinion, the weakest player on the team. So he's really keeping it together for them, continuing to dominate. Top is 4th, moving up 6 spots, 5 or 6, just like EDG. Top are 5-1. They beat FPX and LNG, 2 teams that would have been LNG are way down here in the basement of the rankings. They have played very bad. But LNG, solid win, and FPX are no slouch. Top continue to play very well. Knight played well. Wayward is still kind of iffy in top. We really like him at his best, but he's still kind of figuring it out. And Jackie Love showed up big at times this past week as well. So top have been performing pretty well and been decent. 3rd, we have JDG. JDG are dropping 1 spot. No fault of their own, really, but dropping 1 spot nonetheless. JDG are 6-0. They beat Ultra Prime and Thunder Talk. I mean, JDG are very good. Kanavi is 1v9ing. I think Hope and Missing are playing much better than they did in spring. Yagao has shown up, and 369 has had games where he carried. Where in spring I felt like it didn't happen nearly as much. They turned it up in the late portions of the split, but at the same time, still a very elite team. Obviously, World Championship contending. Like I said, this row here is the pseudo, like, these teams could win Worlds sort of, column. 2nd place, I have Gen.g, moving up 2 spots. Gen.g beat Nongchim and Fred at Brion. They're 5-0. Atop the LCK standings. Chovy is farming at, I think I saw 10.4 on Games of Legends. Chovy, best mid laner in the world. Doran played very well at times today, for sure. Ruler, they even got cute in draft, and they still won. Like, they're getting out drafted big time and still win. So Gen.g are very good. Goes without saying they have some of the best players in the world at key positions. Peanut has been the glue for that team, picking interesting things and making it work. I mean, the Poppy is still fringe, but it's a good pick for him. And those sorts of things are huge when you get to international events. And first is Victory 5, moving up 2 spots, 1 spot. Victory 5, without Rookie, are doing very well. It's really crazy to see. And without Karsa, again, like, they beat RNG and Team Wii, and against Team Wii, they played XLB Zhao Lao Bao. It's not XLB, Zhao Lao Bao. At Jungle and Dream and Mid, and yes, it's Team Wii, and they stink. But the fact is, they 2-0'd them with 2 LDL players. If Zhao Lao Bao and Dream do not have a spot in 2023, what is the rest of the LPL doing? They're not willing to spend. I will say that obviously in mid there is Karsa and Rookie are definitely not in their, one could say they're in their prime, but how much time do they have left? Probably a couple of years. But does Victory 5 want to let those 2 guys go if their replacements? Do they want to let the 2 young players go, given the starters are the age they are? I mean, remains to be seen, but I really think Victory 5 are playing the best League of Legends in the world right now, beating RNG and Team Wii, like I said, just without a doubt. So comment down below with your opinions. All opinions are valid, as long as they're not, ridiculous. But like the video if you like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Hit the notification bell if you want to get notified of when I upload videos, because sometimes they're kind of random throughout the day. I wish I could do it the same time every day, but it's not really in the cards more often than not. Because earlier today I did my roundup like an hour ago, that went up, and my sneak peek is going to be up probably an hour and a half, 2 hours from now. So stay tuned for all that. Thank you for watching, and I hope you come back for more content.